Good morning, students. Today we will study a very important topic from the third semester syllabus of BSc B.Ed, that is F block elements or also the inner transition elements. So let us start with the F block elements. So what are F block elements? Elements which in which the additional electron, the incoming electron enters the n minus 2 orbital, that is the F orbital. That is why they are also called as inner transition elements. Why? Because the entering electron, it enters the inner F orbital. That is why they are also called as inner transition elements. And the general electronic configuration of these elements can be represented by n minus 2 F orbital 0 to 14. Why? Because F orbital can accommodate maximum 14 electrons. And then n minus 1 D 0 to 1 and then ns2. So this is the general electronic configuration of all the F block elements. Now the 4F series, the 4F inner transition metals, they are known as lanthanides. Why? Because they come immediately after the element which is named lanthanum. And the 5F series, the 5F inner transition elements, they are called as actinoids. Why? Because they come immediately after the element which is named actinium. Now here in this figure, the electronic configuration of all the lanthanides is given. So it starts from lanthanum, then cerium, praseodymium, then neodymium, then promethium, samarium, europium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, holmium, erbium, thulium, terbium, and then lutetium. So lanthanum to lutetium. That is the lanthanides. And the atomic number range from 57 to 71. So the 14 elements from 57 to 71, they are the lanthanides. Now, coming to very important properties. So we will take up each of the properties of lanthanides one by one. So first and foremost is the atomic and the ionic size. So why we need to study that? Because there is a very important phenomenon which happens in this case of lanthanides in terms of its atomic and the ionic radius or the size, is that lanthanides are found to exhibit lanthanide contraction or decrease in the atomic size. Normally what happens, what we have studied in before in like S and P block elements, that and even D block elements, that with the entering electron, it enters the outermost shell, and that is why what happens, that the size, atomic size, it goes on increasing. But what happens in case of lanthanides, that the incoming electron, it is not going to the outermost shell but the inner shell. That is why what is happening, the size is actually decreasing. Why? Because the incoming electron, it is experiencing some kind of attraction, force of attraction from the nucleus. So because of this attraction, the size contracts or the radius decreases. That is why there is a decrease in the atomic size with the entering electron. So what happens, that as the atomic number increases, each succeeding element, it contains one more electron in the 4f orbital and one proton in the nucleus. Now the 4f electrons, they are ineffective in screening the outer electrons from the nucleus, which cause imperfect shielding. And because the shielding is imperfect, there is more contraction or more attraction. That is why there is gradual increase in the nuclear attraction, and consequently the gradual decrease in the size occurs. So this gradual decrease in size with the entering electron, with the number of increasing electrons, is called as lanthanide contraction. Now, what are the consequences of this lanthanide contraction? So what happens is that because of lanthanide contraction, the 4D and the 5D series, they resemble each other very much. And the ionization energy also is more than the 3D and the 4D transition series, and they are also difficult to separate. Now, some example of such consequences is that there's a question like explain the cause and two consequences of lanthanide contraction. So the cause is the poor shielding effect of the electrons, and the consequences is again the same thing. There's a close resemblance between the 4D and 5D series, and also ionization energy is higher in case of 5D as compared to 3D and 4D, and that is why difficulty in separation. Now there is another question, that why zirconium and hafnium have almost similar atomic radii. Why? Because of lanthanide contraction. Why? Because of the lanthanide contraction, their properties become similar. Then next question is size of trivalent lanthanoid, that is lanthanide, any lanthanoid with +3 valency or +3 oxidation state, I mean the cation in +3 state. The size of such trivalent lanthanoid cation, it decreases with the increase in the atomic number. Normally what happens is that with the increase in the atomic number, the atomic size increases, but here opposite is happening. Why? Because of the poor shielding effect of the f electrons. The valence electrons are strongly attracted towards the nucleus, therefore effective nuclear charge increases and hence the ionic size decreases. Now coming to the next important property, that is ionization enthalpy. So it is found that they have fairly low ionization energy, and the first ionization enthalpy is around 600 kilojoule per mole, second being just almost double, that is 1200, which is almost comparable to that of calcium. Now, because of this low ionization energy, the lanthanides have high electropositive character. Then the third property is the colored ions. So many lanthanoids are found in colored form, both in the solid and in the solution form. Why? We know that, we have studied in D block elements that the cause of color is the DD transition. So similarly, in case of the F block elements or the lanthanoids, the cause of color is the FF transition. Why? Because they have partially filled F orbital. So what happens is that when it is fully filled, there won't be any space or chance to escape, like to jump from the lower energy state to the higher energy state. Why? Because everything is filled. But when it is partially filled, then the electron from the lower energy state, it can absorb energy and it can get excited to the higher energy state, and then when it comes down, comes back to its ground state, it will release the energy in the form of light or color that will impart color to that particular element or compound. So that is why in case of F block elements, FF transition cause color of the compounds. Then the if we find, like, because there is absorption of light, absorption of energy, and then the corresponding color. So what happens is these absorption bands, these are narrow. Why? Because the transitions are happening within the F levels only. Now it is found that the first and the last element of the series, that is lanthanum cation, trivalent cation, and the lutetium trivalent cation, they do not show any color. Why? Because in case of lanthanum, +3 means all the electrons have gone, so it is a vacant, completely vacant f orbital. Whereas in case of lutetium, it is Lu3 plus is actually completely filled, fully filled f orbital. So such elements, because they do not have any electrons for the transitions, that is why there is no color. That is why they are colorless. Then coming to the next property, that is magnetic property. So the lanthanoid ions, other than the F0 type, like lanthanum trivalent and the cerium trivalent, and the F14 like terbium and the lutetium, except for these 4 elements, all are paramagnetic. Paramagnetic means they have one or more unpaired electrons. And the maximum paramagnetism means the maximum number of unpaired electrons is found in the metal element, that is a neodymium. Similarly, like we had manganese in case of D block elements. So here maximum paramagnetism is shown by neodymium, that you can remember. Then they have very high magnetic susceptibilities. Why? Because they have large number of unpaired F electrons. Now coming to the next fifth important property, that is the oxidation state. So normally +3 oxidation state is found predominantly in case of F block elements, and the +3 oxidation state in lanthanum and then gadolinium and then lutetium, they are especially stable. Why? Because in them, either completely either empty, like in case of lanthanum it is completely empty. In case of gadolinium it is exactly half filled, that is 7 electrons, and then in case of lutetium it is completely filled, that means all 14 electrons. So because of these these kind of electronic configuration, these particular 3 oxidation states are extremely stable. Now this 2 elements, cerium and terbium, they show +4 oxidation state. Why? Because +4 in case of cerium 4 plus, it leads to 4f0, and then for terbium 4 plus, it leads to 4f7. So that is why because after after losing 4 electrons, the state that it obtains, it has more stable electronic configuration. That is why these 2 elements exhibit these 2 oxidation states. Then occasionally +2 and +4 ions in solution or in solid compounds are also obtained. And this irregularity arises mainly from the extra stability of empty, half filled or fully filled F shell. So what happens is that sometimes +2 and +4 are also found, like just like the example of cerium and terbium, where +4 is also shown, whereas generally predominantly +3 oxidation state prevails in case of F block elements. So why this happens +2 and +4? Because of this reason only. So whenever these states are happening, it is because the resulting the resulting oxidation state obtained, or the resulting cation obtained, it has either empty or half filled or fully filled F subshell. Now the most stable oxidation state of lanthanides is actually +3 only. That is why the ions in +2 oxidation state tend to change to +3 state by loss of an electron. Because they lose electrons, so they are themselves getting oxidized. That is why they act as reducing agents. Whereas those in the +4 oxidation state, they tend to change to +3 oxidation state, because their oxidation state is decreasing, so they are getting reduced themselves, and since they are themselves getting reduced, so they are good oxidizing agents in aqueous solution. Now there is a question for you: why samarium 2 plus and europium 2 plus and ytterbium 2 plus ions in solutions are good reducing agent, but an aqueous solution of cerium 4 plus is a good oxidizing agent? The answer is right above it. Again the same question. So the most stable oxidation state of lanthanides is +3. Hence, the ions in +2 oxidation state tend to change to +3 state by loss of an electron, acting as a reducing agent. Whereas those in the +4 oxidation state tend to change to +3 oxidation state by gain of electron, acting as a good oxidizing agent in aqueous solution. Now coming to the physical properties of the F block element. So they are normally silvery white soft metals, and they tarnish in air rapidly, and their hardness increases with increase in the atomic number. And among all the lanthanides, samarium is the it's like very hard. It is like steel hard. And then they are good conductors of heat and electricity, and some of them are radioactive also, like promethium, that is radioactive in nature. Now the chemical properties, they combine with hydrogen when gently heated in the gas, and then their carbides like lanthanum, Ln3C type of carbides, or Ln2C3 or Lnc2 type of carbides are formed when these elements are heated with carbon. And what they do when they react with acids, they liberate hydrogen, and when they burn in halogens, they form halides. And they also form oxides and hydroxides. So oxides of the type M2O3, hydroxides of the type MOH whole thrice. And they are, in general, they are basic, like the alkaline earth metal oxides and hydroxides. So their oxides and hydroxides are basic in nature. So here the method of preparations are like various reactions of lanthanides is given. So with acids it releases hydrogen, then with oxygen it forms oxides, with sulfur it forms sulfides, with halogen it forms halide, with water it forms hydroxide, with carbon it forms carbides, and then with nitrogen it forms nitrides. Then coming to the next, that is actinides. So the important thing about actinides is that all the isotopes are radioactive, whereas only thorium 232, uranium 235, 238 uranium, and plutonium 244, they have long half-lives. So half-life means the time required to disintegrate to half of its amount. So if the initial amount is 100%, so after one half-life it will reduce to 50%. Now, only thorium and uranium occur naturally. Both are more abundant in the Earth's crust than tin. And the others must be made by nuclear processes. So all the other actinides, they are actually made by nuclear processes. They are not natural. Only thorium and uranium occur naturally. Now, coming to the oxidation state. So the dominant oxidation state of actinides is +3, and actinides also exhibit an oxidation state of +4, and some actinides such as uranium, neptunium, and plutonium also exhibit an oxidation state of +6. The actinides show actinide contraction like the lanthanide contraction. Why? Because of the poor shielding effect, where in case of lanthanide it was 4f electrons, in case of actinide it is 5f electrons, and all the actinides are radioactive in nature. Now, similar to lanthanide contraction, they also exhibit actinide contraction. So what happens is, as the size of the atoms or the trivalent cations, it decreases regularly along the series. And this steady decrease in the atomic or the ionic radius with the increasing atomic number is called as actinoid contraction. And this contraction is more from element to element in this series. Why? Because of the poor shielding effect by the F electron, 5F electron. Now in this table, it is given the general electronic configuration of all the elements. So again, similar to the 14 lanthanides, there are 14 actinides starting from actinium to lawrencium. And in terms of atomic number, it starts from 89 to 103. Now coming to their magnetic properties, they are mostly paramagnetic. Why? Because of the presence of unpaired electron, and magnetic properties are more complex as compared to the lanthanoids. And then if we see the melting and the boiling points, then they have high melting and boiling points, and they do not follow the regular trend of the melting point or boiling point, which usually increases with the increase in the atomic number. Then they have low ionization energy, so they are highly electropositive. And then again, similar to the lanthanides, they are also colored, and their color depends upon the number of 5F electrons. And similarly, when there is no electron like 5F0 or 5F7, which is completely half filled, so they are colorless. Now, if we compare lanthanides to actinides, so there are certain similarities. See, both of them involve filling of the f orbital, and so they are very similar in many respects. And in both of them, the most common oxidation state is +3. Both are electropositive and hence very reactive. Both have magnetic and spectral properties. And then both exhibit contraction, like lanthanide contraction and actinide contraction. So the difference lies in their oxidation state. So besides +3, lanthanide also show +2 and +4, whereas actinides show even higher oxidation state, like +4, +5, +6, +7. Then lanthanides are colorless and actinides are colored. And the actinides have actually a greater tendency towards complex formation as compared to lanthanides. So these are the points of differences. Then next is the lanthanide compounds are less basic, whereas actinides are more basic in nature. Then actinides form few important oxocations like UO2 2 plus and PuO2 2 plus, while such oxocations are not known for lanthanides. Then almost all actinides are radioactive, while lanthanides, except for promethium, they are non-radioactive. And the next point is the magnetic properties of actinides can be easily explained, but it is difficult to do in case of lanthanides. Now, let us take an illustrative example. So, if there is a question like why do lanthanoids and actinoids have same physical and chemical properties? Why? The reason being that they have similar electronic configuration and the f orbital is progressively filled in both of them. So, this was all about actinides, lanthanides and actinides. That is part of the F block elements. So, that's all. Thank you.